Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the afternoon session of today's program. And today we have a valuable resource person, Professor Ramarao Thete, who is going to talk on education leadership, curriculum development, and researches for effective pedagogy. So, to introduce Dr. Ramarao, Ajit Ramarao Thete to the participants, I would like to present his brief profile. Dr. Ajit Ramarao Thete has been awarded educational qualifications such as BTech in Civil Engineering, Master of Technical Education, Master of Engineering, Master of Business Administration, and PhD, and he is a fellow of Institution of Engineers. He is a member of 7 professional bodies. He has professional experience of 36 years in teaching, administration, and educational consultancy. He served as head of the department in civil engineering, joint director in technical education in the Department of Higher and Technical Education, Government of Maharashtra. He has developed and authored the unique document of quality learning system that is being used for the last 20 years across 1000 plus institutions in the state of Maharashtra. He has authored 4 books and contributed chapters in 2 books. He has a total of 126 research papers to his credit, and he has also traveled across most of the Asian and European countries as part of academics. He has worked as a member of Task Group, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and he was chairman for strategic planning, technical education, Department of Science and Technology, Jharkhand. Currently, he is working on different committees and strategic bodies of Government of India and Maharashtra. As a member of CSR Committee on Teacher Education, Government of Maharashtra, Governing Council, MSME Tool Room, Government of India, Evaluation Committee, YCMOU Nashik, Board of Studies in universities and autonomous institutions, then Dhanvantari College of Business Management, KIM, Surat, Advisory Committee, GMNIRD, Dr. Bob, various institutions. He is at the strategic level. He has worked in all types of institutions and universities, such as conventional colleges, medical colleges, dental colleges, engineering colleges, pharmacy colleges, and management institutions for different quality management projects inclusive of outcome-based education. Presently, he is working on 40 plus very prestigious projects in the country through through his self enterprise, uh, uh, namely First Foundation and Center for Development of Leadership in Education. His domain of work includes strategic planning, policy design, project development, curriculum development, outcome based education, instructional system design, institute design, education design, quality system development, assessment and accreditation, auditing and mentoring, faculty development programs, career planning and guidance, and counseling, student development programs, and allied projects. So he has a vast experience in education planning. So with his valuable experience, probably our participants will get right information out of his experience. So normally what we are doing is in the institutions, few members become few members being the part of board of studies. So they decide the curriculum, and uh, there is no check, there is no proper check by the industry whether the curriculum is meeting the requirements of industry or society or various other walks of life. So there here we really require some planning. So curriculum development and curriculum planning as per the needs or as per the custom needs of the students. So This is what is the requirement of today, and probably Professor Ramarao Thate will will throw a light on this topic called education leadership, curriculum development, and researches for effective pedagogy. So, with these few words, I would like to thank and request Professor Ramarao Thate to handle the session. Sir, can I
Sure,
request?
sure. Yes, yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for inviting me for this a very important faculty development program organized by NRI Institute of Technology. Thanks to the director of the institution, Department of Computer Science, coordinator, and all my fellow delegates who have joined this program. Friends, very rightly said, our curriculum play a very vital role in the development of the entire education system as such. And here we have to go beyond the board of studies. Of course, board of studies is there. That is a mechanism which has been established for the process of approval, process of granting the validating the curriculum, etc., etc. But very important to all of us is going for the curriculum design, pedagogical researches, and then really exhibit a demonstration of a educational leadership. And this is the topic on which I'm going to discuss, very important topic. Though we are a little bit late, but I'll try to cover in the time allocated to me. May I request the organizers to give me allow me to share the screen, please?
Yes, sir. Done it, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I'll just open my PowerPoint presentation so that our
Yes.
interaction becomes, like a live one. Huh? You can take whenever you are, if you are on the laptop or you are on mobile, a few slides where I'll ask you to take the snaps, like teacher asking student to take the notes. So like you are not a student, you are my teacher, fellow delegates. I'll ask you to take the photograph of certain slides. So friends, when we discuss these aspects of our curriculum design and development, we really need to see really need to see that how is that we all can gather together and we can provide a better leadership to the system of education, and that is where we all are going to discuss in the time allocated to us. Education leadership, curriculum development, and research for effective pedagogy. This is the topic allocated to me. I once again welcome all my learned delegates for this program and take the benefit of our interactions and experiences, whatever I'm going to share with you today. Friends, when the title is there, Education Leadership, Curriculum Development, Research for the Effective Pedagogy, one may think that there are so many other aspects which also equally we need to think when we are talking about the education leadership, or whenever we talk of going ahead in our system as such. I just go one by one. Now, education leadership, curriculum, and research. This is a cycle. Try to understand. To demonstrate, the education leadership, we are going to see what really meaning to demonstrate the education leadership. Today, we require a lot of leadership in education, and that leadership can be really can be imparted or can be delivered effectively if you have an insight on curriculum development and you do a continuous research into that. As the moderator said that key, the way the curriculums are designed, the way the curriculums are designed, these curriculums are designed in a very different way, but actually we should follow a very scientific and systematic way of designing the curriculum. We have an autonomous institution like NRI Institute of Technology. We have good number of autonomous institutions are there. We have more number of affiliated institutions to different universities. Now here, we as a teacher, we as a professors of different department will have to understand that if I'm an autonomous institute, I'm working in an autonomous institute, what is my role in the curriculum development? Your role is different because here you have to get involved in the design of curriculum, okay, in following certain model, certain scientific process. And when it comes down to an affiliated institute, the curriculum is already designed by the affiliated university. Now you have to implement that curriculum. But when you implement this curriculum, the we know that our institutions are located at different demography. Few are in rural area, some are in semi-urban area, metro area, and the type of students those who are coming to the institution, their background and their individual differences are too much there. So we as a teacher, when the affiliated curriculum come down to your institution, you all have to, what we have to do that, we have to again redesign. Redesign means we have to rethink on this curriculum, how you can, what additionals are required, what add-ons are required, what type of the teaching strategy is required, what type of the inputs are required, so that this curriculum can be implemented to our institute. So herein, somewhere a knowledge of curriculum design is equally required to the faculty member of autonomous institute and even in affiliated institution. You must have experienced that whenever you go and deliver your curriculum, your course curriculum, your subject curriculum in a class, you also do certain modalities. You try to model your curriculum, whatever syllabus is given to them. If some content is not there, you add to that because you feel that that is an essential requirement to as a prerequisite. So though curriculum it is not mentioned, you do so. In some time, the contents are not really given in depth of that, but you understand and you do it. So every one of us are very much involved in curriculum development. So I want all my teachers, I always say that our teacher must be having a good experience, a good knowledge of designing the curriculum. And second point is on research. Research in the discipline, our subject specific domain, is essential, but at the same time, we also required to do work on certain pedagogical research. Because we have a variety of programs, and as I said to you, variety of learners, we have a variety of outcomes. How do you, and you have to do a continuous research based upon the learning experiences. If at all you have designed certain learning experiences for the student, you have to continuously assess whether learning experiences were appropriate or not, what was the effect of that, and continuously you have to do a research both in the part of your discipline subject, and simultaneously you have to do a research on the pedagogy. My dear friend, my going to focus on these aspects, but let me tell you at the same time, equally there are different, for the education leadership as a hub, there are different spokes of education leadership, and that is where we all need to work. I may not cover all these program the atoms. Curriculum and disciplinary knowledge is essential to demonstrate education leadership. Try to understand education psychology. A knowledge of education psychology is must to us. Educational technology, we have a different educational technology, education design, and their instruction designs are there that we need to understand. We should have to have a knowledge of assessment and evaluation. We talk of reforms in examination evaluation system. We talk about formative and summative examination. We talk about continuous evaluation. We talk about process evaluation and product evaluation. So we as a teacher, when you are delivering, or an institute or head of department, when we are delivering any program, we should have a aspects and planning into that. And last but one is the education management. How do you, what set of management we do? How do you plan the entire activities? And of course, as I said to you very beginning, research is going to be there. These are very important stages in our life as a profession and career. My dear friend, my discussion, as I said to you, may limit to the research and curriculum design. But when I'm saying that, our entire community is saying that we require educational leaders, then we need to understand what should be the attributes of education leaders. Why do we require educational leaders? Who are going to be the educational leaders? Only the director of the institute, or only the head HOD, or only a coordinator? No, we require that every faculty member in the institute should demonstrate educational leadership abilities, and that is what is the main theme of this particular discussion, my dear friend. And that's why I just happy to share with you the quote given by John F. Kennedy, the President of America, who, he is a 10th or some President of America. He said that leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. See, it's very important quote. This quote is being used in different situations, and I think to in our educational situation, this is equally applicable. We talk of research, we talk of curriculum development, and we talk of leadership. So leadership and learning are indispensable to each other, and that is where, my dear friends, we will have to see that how we can demonstrate leadership. Okay, and how the learning is going to be important, and when you do the learning, how the learning can be enhanced for the students, for the faculty members, for the subject domain. So because our leadership is totally depend upon, it cannot go without learning, and that is what John F. Kennedy say in the different context, but equally applicable in the education sector too. That is what we are going to discuss also to some extent in our discussion. So I think you all must be remembering the milestones in your life. What you did, you obtained your higher education and qualification. Okay. Then you opt education as a field of career and profession by accepting certain responsibilities in higher education institutions. Few of them, they start their own enterprise. Few of them, they have joined the industry. Some of them their consultancy. We all who are connected with this program, we have opted to the education as a field of career, as a profession, by accepting different responsibility. Unfortunately, earlier, such type of FIPs were not there. Faculty development programs were not there. Induction programs are not there, because we all teacher, when you are giving knowledge, though we are PhD, though we are master's degree having the degree program, but still teaching is different, because learning, students are involved, and whenever we are learning is there, learning should be the meaningful learning. Meaningful learning means it should be useful to the learner when you go in the world of work. So for that reason, my dear friend, such type of the faculty induction programs are very essential. And then we started doing self-studies, how to teach, what to teach. I still remember, I say that when I joined in the very first year, first semester of my profession as a teacher in an engineering institution, when I started teaching, mine was the program or the course which was allocated to me. I finished my curriculum in 1.5 months of 3 to 3.5 month curriculum, sorry, semester uh, duration. Why? Because I was not knowing what to teach, how to teach. And I've experienced that rest of my senior faculty are still teaching, they are conducting extra lecture. Then I went again to the curriculum, to the question paper, and then I started, and again I started conducting sessions for the student. What I mean to say, what to teach and how to teach, this self-studies always required to us. And earlier we don't never used to get such type of the training, but now AICT and UGC is planning such of the type of the program. Next did you started doing research. Not only that, you have started doing research, publication of papers, etc., etc. Then you went on continuous professional development. Keep in my mind, my dear friend, as we have seen, John F. Kennedy's statement, his quote, learning and leadership are indispensable to each other. So continuous professional development, which you must be doing. Then you started guidance student and mentoring. Then many of us who have joined today, you might be thinking on certain critical discussions on different issues regarding curriculum, regarding employment, regarding the depth of curriculum, regarding the understanding level of the student, regarding the innovations happening in the world of subject discipline, and regarding about the management of the entire program as such. So you used to have a thinking on on and you doing assessing, evaluating, interpreting, and so on. My dear friend,
ब्लँक फॉर्मॅट आहे
these
जे
were the
PhD
milestones
वगैरे
in your
तुम्ही
life.
दाखवलेले, ते सगळे ब्लँक फॉर्मॅट
Please
आहे.
mute your
व्हॉट्सअपवरच पाठवा सर.
mute your speaker.
Hello.
Oh.
Yeah,
Please mute the speakers.
Yeah, I'm muting all, sir. 1 second. Sir, kindly
So
unmute
assessing.
after this. Sir, right now you can unmute yourself, sir.
So we'll have to think on these aspects of like assessing, evaluating, interpreting, and so on. And my dear friend, I'm looking for this particular task to happen, that we all sometime come out with our own philosophy of thinking. Our own philosophy of thinking is a must when we go for such type of discussions. So we have to come and establish your own philosophy of education. I want your leadership should reach to that position. These are our milestones in our life, and there are a lot of expectations from the teacher, which we are now also going to discuss. So sometimes we have a question: why shouldn't take admissions in the higher education institutions? Why do you really need to take admission? Why do we teach in the institution? And very important, what are the expected outcomes of these combined efforts? So these questions are already discussed at different forum in the society, in the industry, in the institution, by the student, by the teacher community. And I think, my dear friends, we need to focus on these questions and develop and reorient our leadership in education so that we fulfill the dream and the mission of the students for which they have taken the admission. We must address on the what is the purpose of teaching these students, and we should really go into the teaching what expected outcomes are there of the combined effort. This is what we will have to do it in when we go for that. And that's why we as a teacher is very important, as said by APJ Abdul Kalam. Let us sacrifice our life today so that our children can have a better tomorrow. Why teacher community? I always say to my teacher community that our teaching is a noble profession. Why noble profession? Because we have to develop a not only the knowledge base, the professional knowledge, professional skills, core skills, but simultaneously we have to develop a generation. Human development, values are there, personality development is there, and there is not only possible if I'm just going and conducting a lecture and delivering the content in my classroom. We require a very different type of the leadership, and that is what APJ Abdul Kalam said. Let us sacrifice our life today so that our children can be a better tomorrow. My dear friend, again I appeal all of you that looking to this pressure, looking to the demand from the society, from the profession, from the individual, will have to do more than what we are doing today. I just wanted to quote here, my dear friend, my experience of last 3 days. Luckily, last 3 days, I met with 2 young teachers having the age of 29 years of their age. And I met one senior faculty. Same question asked by these 3 of my friend, of my participants was, what is the future of education sector in country? I say, what do you want to say? So they say that we have a lot of expectation. We talk about national development, but what is the present status? And as my friend said in the very beginning, the issues like curriculum design is going to give a lot of input and insight to all of us. And we all have to think on the different aspects of education leadership and really deliver that how we can really provide a leadership. So as APJ Abdul Kalam said, let us sacrifice our life today so that our children can be a better tomorrow. And that's why, my dear friend, I have planned these 3 session outcomes for today. Develop the capabilities for education leadership. See, we are going to talk about leadership and educational leadership. We today require, if we are looking for vision. We people say that. I still remember people say that India is a developing country or developed country. Now we are the developed country, my dear friend, because our world has now leading the entire global. Huh? We have been leading in knowledge sector, in different sector, industrial sector, in the pharmaceutical sector, in the health sector, in the agriculture sector, and now we have been treated as a developed nation. So we require a developed capabilities for the educational leadership. Demonstrate leadership in curriculum development and foster research for effective pedagogy. This is very important. Three aspects. These are the outcomes which I'm talking to you. Sometimes I may be moving fast because of the time constant, but yes, I'll try to give the justice to the time and topic of the theme of this discussion. So friends, this is where developing the capabilities for the education leadership, and that is where we have to work on that. And now how I can become education leadership? What is the meaning of education leadership? That we really want to see, and that's where, my dear friend, we begin with our first part of presentation. A core presentation is that developing leadership in education. What is the foundation for that? As I said, when stating about the few milestones in your life, teaching as a profession, many of them many of them have opted teaching profession. Might be that they could not get good job in outside. Even it so happened in my case, to be very honest with you. After passing, I was going for one interview as a supervisor on one building site. In my journey, those days mobiles were not there. I met with one of my friend, and he said that there is a vacancy in one of the institute. Would you like to become a teacher in a polytechnic or engineering college? See, because I have a pass out, I was needing the job. I have not thought that time whether I will become teacher. Never thought of that. But then I say, yeah, we don't know whether we'll get the job of supervisor or not. Let us get an opportunity and join here as a teaching professor. This is how many times I say that it so happens in everybody's life. Well, but because of some or other reason, though you have not a mission and vision to become a teacher, but we become a teacher. So, but my dear friend, I'm very fortunate. I joined my teaching profession 1984, and since then, very immediately, I got two training of 1 month duration, and they have opened my eyes, they have resolved my thought, and they have created vision and developed mission in my life. That is what we want, because as I said to you repeatedly, teaching is a noble profession. Teacher has got so much of empowering ability, capability, so that a generation to generation we can develop a good personality, good professional, good society, good technology, and whatnot. But my dear friend, for that we need to have the foundation. What is the foundation? How I can become a leadership? How I can develop those capabilities for the leadership development? So first, we will try to understand what is the difference between leadership and educational leadership. You must be knowing, this is just for discussion. I'm presenting this slide. Leadership is any activities tied to the core work of organization, any organization, core work of organization, designed by organizational member to influence the motivation, knowledge, affect, or practices of other organizational member. We have to influence. So some of the organizational member, they take lead and they focus on core work of organization so that they can influence other organizational member. This is the leadership. Now, when we talk about educational leadership, we talk of educational leadership is the process of enlisting and guiding the talents and energies of teachers, pupils, and parents to achieving common educational aims. So here, educational leadership is very much similar to the leadership, because here also we are focusing on the core work of organization. The educational institution is to achieve common educational aims. And what we do, the process of enlisting and guiding the talents and energies of the teachers and pupils and parents towards achieving the common educational aim is the educational leadership. So here we need to understand how the educational leadership is there, and our job is to develop the energies, to enlist and to develop a talent in the teachers, pupils, and parents toward achieving the purpose of the aim of the education. And that aim of education we need to understand. Many times I say that if you really want to become education teacher, you want to become a successful teacher, certain things we must know. We must know the concept of education. We must know the concept of learning. We must know the process of learning. We must know the curriculum development process. We must know the learner. Same way, when educational leadership is to be demonstrated, and we have to enlist the talent and the processes to develop the energies among the teachers, we must have to achieve the core aim of education. Just see what teacher we can demonstrate and what is the concept for that, where we are really going to work onto this particular line. So let's move to the next slide and just see why this particular type of the emergence of leadership in education is there. Why this we started discussing about the education leadership from the beginning of 20th century, my dear friend, because demands were made on higher education institute for higher level of people achievement, and expecting that the institute should improve and reform. Why education leadership? Why the topic of the discussion is on education leadership? Because demands are there to increase the level of people achievement and expected to improve the improvement of the institution. Expectations were accompanied by calls for accountability at higher education level. There was no accountability. People, means this is a fact which we must share, and you must have experience. We must be accountable if employment is not there, if industry is complaining, if society is complaining, if student is complaining, if management is complaining, HOD is complaining. What is that? Because expectations were accompanied by calls for accountability. We require accountability in the higher education level. Then there was administration and management, but it is to exercise control and supervision, my dear friend. There was administration, there was the organization structure, but last point, the concept of leadership was favored because it conveys dynamism and proactivity. What we really required when we go for NBA and when we go for NAC, when variety of questions are asked, what do you do for slow learners and advanced learners? How do you identify slow learners and fast advanced learners? What is the process of identifying slow learners and advanced learners after admission? If we go to this micro level, you will find what is really required. A dynamism is required and a proactivity required, and that is where the concept of leadership was favored because of this aspect. So why education leadership? Generate results and achieve your organization visions, the change focused leadership. That's why we required education leadership. Foster productivity by designing work practices, routines, systems, and structure. We need to design. We have to come out with the system. We have to go for work practice. That is what we is expected, because the type of the outcome expected, and that there, my dear friend, we require an educational leadership. Engage people from across culture, background, and language through effective communication. We know that new national education policy talk of multidisciplinary approach, talk of liberal education, liberal art. Beyond that, we have experienced that our students go to abroad, they go globally, internationally. The student of mechanical engineer is not only working in a automotive sector or a pure mechanical engineer, they also work in the food industry, they work in fashion industry, they work in pharmaceutical industry. So what we really require, our students are working the futures, and that's why we require education leadership, so that we engage people from across cultural background and languages through the effective communication. Cultivate empowerment, resiliency, integrity, and growth through personal development and development of others, my dear friend. Our job is really have changed, as I said to you, and that's why we education leadership there. When you are developing a student individual personality, as I said to you, on their professional knowledge, professional skill, core skill, their personality development, you have to develop others into the factor. And definitely we want to develop skills, knowledge, and position your need to make a transformative impact. We have to be, this is leadership, understand. What is the leadership? He's taking lead, he's making innovative, and he's taking a proactive and dynamic role and make a transformative impact. Today, as I said to you, you yourself evaluate, and we are going to have a one slide onto that at the end of the program. But my dear friend, I would like to attract your attention that this is why leadership education is required, and we all should get ourselves properly blend to this requirement and start demonstrating the education leadership by acquiring the capabilities and skills which are required to be there. In doing so, I would like you all to understand when we will see about the core aim of the education. Now, in the today's context, when we talk of education leadership, in the education leadership, we must understand a concept of education and what is the policy agenda. When we have to have the demonstrate education leadership, what do you mean by education leadership? You will understand when you read this concept. It is nothing else. When we start understanding the concept, see the concept. You can have a, what is the concept of education? Education is development of body, mind, and soul. This is what Mahatma Gandhi ji said. So we need to provide a leadership to abide to these concept of education, development of their body, their mind, and their soul. Okay, that means developing their cognitive mind, their affective mind, and their psychomotor mind skill, their cognition process. We need to work. While doing so, why education leadership, why curriculum, why research is required? Because Swami Vivekananda said, education is the manifestation of divine perfection which already exists in the human being. The students, those who are admitted to your institution, they are having individual differences. They may be, for one or other reason, slow learners, okay, because their language, their exposure was less. But please remember that there is a potential in each and everyone. We have to do a research for that. We have to design a curriculum for that. We can do this, what is said. Rabindranath Tagore says, the highest education is that which does not give us any information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. All our graduates coming of the institution, I'm talking in general, not only for technical education alone, are they really are in harmonious with the present existence, present pressures, present social, present type of the demands in the society, economically, socially, qualitative wise, innovation wise? And that is what Rabindranath Tagore says. The highest education is that which does not merely give us an information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. My dear friend, we'll have to do that. Here at this point, I want to appreciate NRI Institute of Technology. When I went to their website, I have seen they have come out with one more innovative department, Freshers Engineering Department. In Freshers Engineering Department, they are conducting variety types of the activity to prepare students for the type of the skilling, type of the competencies, type of the attitude which are required in the world of work either they go for civil, mechanical, computer, electrical, or electronics. That is what we'll have to do. There's one more very, very beautiful statement given by Sri Aurobindo. What Aurobindo says, read it carefully. My dear friend, this is what we have to demonstrate. This is what is the educational leadership, not only delivering the content in addition to that, education is meant to bring out the best in the man to develop his potentially to the maximum extent and integrate him with himself, his surrounding and society, his country and humanity to make him the complete man, the integral man. See, what are the thoughts given by the old? We talk about the Indian tradition, culture. This is the knowledge given to us. And my dear friend, this is the concept of education which has been said by the great leaders of our country, and their education leadership is required. They say that yes, you develop their potentiality to the maximum extent, integrate him with himself, his surrounding society, his country and humanity to make the complete man an integral man. My dear friend, here we require an educational leadership. Here we require everybody's participation to understand the concept of education, designing the curriculum, doing the research on the, not only the pedagogy, but about the what is happening globally in the field of education, and really fulfill our need into that. And we also said that education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, morals, beliefs, and habits. This is what we generally say. ये तो करना ही है. We have to go for this, my dear friend. But the education leadership is further is required when we go into these sectors of that. I would like to, my dear friend, many of you must have come across, when we have this concept of education in hand, which talks about Indian culture, Indian tradition, the thought, the leaders of country has given us an insight on the concept of education. Now see what is happening globally and internationally. We as a teacher, we as a head of department, and we as a what we can say the director of the institution, and we all community, even deans and everyone, we need to see that one side we have a great tradition and a knowledge of our people, like Sir Aurobindo, Rabindranath Tagore, we have Vivekananda, we have also Mahatma Gandhi, we have Maulana Azad. So many people have given, okay, and we have APJ Abdul Kalam. Now, what is globally saying? The objective of higher education, preparing for employment. These are the 4 objectives of higher education, which were validated and finalized in Bologna process. Whenever we refer to an Washington Accord, today, my fellow delegates, we are going for outcome-based education. The outcome-based education, when we talk about a program educational objectives and program outcomes, they are very much depend upon what globally it has been decided in Bologna process, in Washington Accord, about the objectives of higher education. And see the objectives of higher education, you will find the Indian roots are deeply there been existed in this particular global picture. Preparing for employment, obviously we have to prepare students for employment, either they go for industry or start their cell enterprise. Preparing for life as active citizen in democratic societies. Even AICT has taken a lead role into that, going for a choice-based credit system, offering a courses like a Constitution of India, Indian heritage, because we must understand here, we are going to become engineer, we are going to become scientist or a technocrat. What is my role as active citizen? What is my role? Because we many times say student passing from Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Management Science, in Science Bangalore, they come and they go and work in village. They work with the NGOs. They don't. Few of them, they go abroad. But few of them, they go for the deep root development. because they have understood their life as active citizen in the democratic society. Recently, we have many examples that our colleagues, our students, those who have got abroad and getting a lot of salary, higher salary, they have come back to in India and doing organic farming, doing education. This is what, my dear friend, education has to give, preparing for life as active citizen and democratic society. Personal development. This is very important component. Student, as I said to you in the beginning, there are individual differences. Their backgrounds are different. Their education, language is different. Their exposure different. There is a gender differences are there. Even there is a social differences are there. That equity we need to brought in not only in our curriculum, doing a research and see that we really develop a personality of the student. I don't want, as it is said of one of my a very what we can say favorite hero, William Sparry, that the purpose of education is not degree certificate. It is the purpose of life. And that is what ultimately we want to do, my dear friend. So personal development will be a part of that. Then the development and maintenance of a broad and advanced knowledge base. See, these are the global objective, international objective, which are set in a Bologna process and Washington Accord, which you know very well. So why we require research in pedagogy and research in the interdiscipline subject, because our students should get a development and maintenance of a broad and advanced knowledge base. That's why research is required. And that's why you will find variety of AICT scheme and various initiatives are there to promote the research and to do innovations and creativity, and giving some add-on program to our students is basically that our students should get a broad and advanced knowledge base. Our curriculum, our leadership, our education leadership has to be a part of that. And I think when we talk of education leadership, we need to understand these are the objectives of higher education. I'm going to take you to two more slides to discuss you, make you understand what is the vision of our education, national education policy 2020. Okay. Now this is vision in 2020 policy. If you have read well, otherwise please go through that, because all we are going to go for working for this particular task. Values and disposition that support responsible commitment to the human right, sustainable development, and living and global well-being of, thereby reflecting a truly global citizens. Okay. Values and disposition that support the responsible commitment to the human rights, sustainable development, and living and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. This is our vision, my dear friend. We require leadership for that. We require leadership for that. We require programs, we require curriculum, we require activity, we require educational leadership. And as is said in African proverb, it takes entire village to raise a child. My one teacher, two teacher, 10 teacher in the institute or university, they are not going to be sufficient to reach to this our vision of education. And there we require education leadership to lead into that. I'm going to come to the last point, my dear friend, which I wanted to talk about, because I want to say you not only the concept of education, what our forefathers told you about, our leaders have told about, but what is happening nationally, internationally. And this is another example of a sustainable development goals. You know that UNESCO has come out with the sustainable development goals. And they said education is a force multiplier. Education is a force multiplier which enables self-reliance, boosts economic growth by enhancing skills, and improve people's lives by opening opportunities for better livelihood. This is the sustainable development goal which is globally being planned for. And see the educational leadership, the word self-reliance. Yeah, this is what sustainable development goal talks about, and our country has also going are talking about, are now having to have a vision of making student a self-reliant society. So looking to the our home pitch, on our national pitch, international pitch, and sustainable development pitch, you will find the we required at every stage the education leadership, and that education leadership is need to be developed, my dear friend. Here we want what is here we every time you will find we require curriculum design, we require education management, we require a lot of research, and we have to do a lot of programs for the student development. And as APJ Abdul Kalam say, my favorite personality, the purpose of education is to make good humans with skills and expertise. That is what APJ Abdul Kalam said. The purpose of education is to make good humans with skills and expertise. And next part of the statement is very important. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. I said, why teaching is a noble profession, why we required to demonstrate the educational leadership in our education? Because the enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. We have n number of examples, my dear friend. You go and see every day, you will find that yes, lot of things are happening because these people are really, their human skills are expertise, and they have been, there are enlightened human beings are there. So we have to keep this in mind. We will now go ahead and discuss about how these different aspects can be done. I hope I'm not going fast, but I have kept my mobile to know how much time is left with that. So to summarize, we know that the education is very much important, and how it is important for a life and career. Both for life and career, our education is important, that we have to keep in the mind. We have to think about the objectives of higher educations and whatever we define about the education definition. We must know the sustainable development goal and the core concept of education. What is the role of education that we have to prove? We have to understand, my dear friend, higher education has got mission and vision. The leadership at institute level, at higher education institute, either it might be an autonomous institute, a affiliated institute, or a university, or a department of a university, our mission and vision is going to play a very vital role, my dear friend, in creating that type of the leadership. And that's our mission and vision are very important. And definitely leadership and management is vital for this part of the aspect. So when we talk about leadership, education leadership as such, we really have to work a lot into this. Friends, when we talk, definitely you may, sir, you may agree, because I have seen some of the message coming to me that yes, the discussion is useful to them, presentation is useful to them. My role starts now. My role starts now to some extent. I know that I'm talking to a very learned delegates on this conference, in this interaction program, but it's my duty because I know all have not joined. Okay, we are, as we said sometime, we said that we are going to develop personalities and we are going to develop others too. So whatever I'm going to discuss in next 2-3 slides will be useful to you when you work on developing a leadership on a mega sector. And there, what is required is self and several goal, professional competencies, career, sustainable development for etc etc etc. Unless because why I'm open to you, why I'm really sharing my own experiences, my young teachers are asking me about the future of education. They're asking about the way the curriculums are designed. They ask about the way curriculum is being delivered. They ask about the students' abilities and the state of mind. They understand what is the level of frustration. So it means we as a teacher, we need something to do and align ourselves with the educational aims, the institution, mission and vision, the educational goals, that what we have to do. And for that, yes, my dear friend, nothing, we require a planning. We require a planning, a strategic way. I always believed in doing strategically, and that strategic way of a professional development we will have to do. Okay. Now, relax, take a long breath, talk to self. Now only, and afterward, family, friends, your mentors. Okay. Take some time and write it. See what is happening. We talk because I don't want to tell you so many experiences. I believe in doing certain things. Your action should be useful. And my dear friend, here we have to do, and that is how you are going to have your self-life goals. Your mission and vision, your policy and your mandate. I want you to. It's not we talk about institute, it will not talk about others, but everyone who are going to be our people who are going to join in this particular journey of education leadership. We should have our self-life goal, our mission, our vision, our policy and mandate. And that is where we need to work little bit rigorously. And that's why I'm putting some known tools to you. And I want teachers, because you just think, who am I? As I said sometime before, you have joined this profession. You have started in teaching profession. You are doing study, you are doing research. But ultimately, what is really you want to do? Who am I? Explore, say, talk. I always say people even do not have time to talk to themselves, to the self. They're so busy. They are so much, because they have not really understood their role in teaching profession. I always say in 24 hours, we require 6 to 7 hours of sleep. We spend almost 8 to 10 hours for our institute. And rest of time, I want you to give some time to yourself. I remember all the time when I discuss on this particular point, I remember Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha used to say, hey man, where are you going? Please stop. Look back. Why you are on this planet? What is the purpose of life? Don't fly. Slow down and start working. Herein, I think somewhere time has come to think about looking to the global pressure, looking to the national pressure, looking to the societal pressure and the technology pressure. We need to see that really our teacher becomes a noble profession, my dear friend. So talk to self, do a SOC analysis, define the purpose of life and career. Really, what is your mission? What is your vision? We need to plan. I have also set my mission, vision, goals, and objective. You should have your plans, policy, mandate, and action plan. I want that to happen to your place. I want that. I want that you come out with, because whenever I talk to you, when I talk about my CV, so many research paper published, so many countries visited. I did written so many books, attended so many conferences. Yes, what I could do is for the sustenance of my leadership in education, I have a mandate, I have a certain policy, and have an action plan. I have not purchased till I left the job and started my own company. I was having a second-hand car, and that too after about 20 years of my life, 16 years of my service. I buy one second-hand car. I had no power to purchase new car, because what I did, I did is very much what we really can do to the people. So search for your hobby, as I said to you, monitor and mentor and review periodically. This is what I want to tell you. And you know, these are management tools you have to work. Brainstorming is there, or brainwriting is there. Define your mission. And I believe in the strategic planning approach that we have to follow in this particular task, my dear friend. In doing so, if we go, then definitely we understand that this is where we have to come out with the understanding the world. This is my concept which always I develop. I said sometime before, you have to see you, I, my family, my society, my profession, my organization, my nation, and my world. This sort of the concept, this philosophy need to develop in our teacher education faculty and also to our students, learners who are coming to that. How I am useful to the society? Because as I said to you, ultimately we should know what is the purpose of life. As I said sometime before in my last previous slide, yes, enjoy life, have a hobby, give some time to yourself, attain, have your mission and vision, and again, you have to go into that particular task as such, my dear friend. So, me and my word are very important, on which I want everyone. You see, because you are not a small person, you are individual is very much useful. When I'm talking to teachers, friends, students, we find such type of intellectual skills we country have, but only we do not get inspiration out of that. We must get inspiration. Student must be told about these stories, and that is how we'll have to go, my dear friend. So me, my family, society, and profession, organization, nation, the world. Our cultural teaching is to us Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Entire knowledge is, entire world is ours world. That is what is the teaching to us from our traditional days, and that is what we have to keep in mind and understand the leading role as an educational leader in our system, my dear friend. And to that, definitely you have to focus on two things, me and organization, because you is equally important, organization is also important, because through the organization you are working. So focus on you and organization and go ahead for that. Now, to do so, definitely, as I said to you, mission and vision are very important. These days, I know each participant must have gone for NAC or NBA. You know, mission and vision is not new to us, but I have seen many mission statements. When you go for mapping with program educational objectives, we get a lot of difficulty. And therein, I want you people, all my delegates, to develop an insight into these management tools of mission and vision. And whenever you are writing mission, why do you exist? Why your organization exists? What is the purpose of being in existence? Educating graduate, undergraduate, preparing for employment, preparing for entrepreneurship, preparing for research, developing a core professional knowledge, developing the moral and ethics. This is what is why, that is why we are observing. Though we are exist because to offer undergraduate and postgraduate and research program or a diploma program, our purpose is different. Our purpose, and those are nothing but, we call them program educational objectives. They come from the mission. Why NBA or why ABET or why outcome-based philosophy of education ask you to match your mission with the program education objective is because of this. What are the organizational values and how the organization distinct from others? Why the organization exists? Who we are? What we do? Explain the basic needs that you fulfill. Express the core values of the organization, learner-centric, standards-driven, equity, professionalism, continuous professional development, quest for excellence, teamwork. These are my core values of the organization, and unique nature of your organization and the role it plays that differentiate it from others. How you are unique, and this must be known to all teaching, non-teaching, and students and all our stakeholders. This mission must be known to them. It must be developed with the participation of these people, so that the mission is percolated and we work on our mission. It's very essential to work on this mission. I cannot give more time on this is what I wanted to say. So whenever you design it, you focus onto that vision, what the organization want to be, what you want, when you want. Here I always focus on when. Some institution during such a type of the program, they ask me a question, sir, how can we change our mission and vision? I say, what is the age of your institution? They said 50 years, 20 years. I say, your vision has not changed. Your mission is not fulfilled till 15 years. We need to think about what is vision, and vision has to be what? It is also specific, what you want really, not a generic statement. Because and when, I just want to remind you, APJ Abdul Kalam, Vision 2020. Recently, TEFAC has come out with another report, Futuristic Technology 2030. Why this 2030? 2020 is important, so that you have a certain action plan program for a definite period where we reach to a vision and you develop. And because, my dear friend, how the organization wants to be pursued in the future, what success look like, and the expression of the desired end state challenges everyone to reach for something. It's significant. It inspires a compelling future, provides a long-term focus for the entire organization. This is vision. And to my dear friend, please excuse me, but I'm experiencing that the statement of mission statement and vision statement are not written, not developed. I want leadership in this aspect, because our journey of leadership begins with what is your mission and what is your vision. And this way we have to go with the mission and vision. My book, which I'll show you the picture, where I have tried to explain all these things to my all fellow teachers. You can use it. It is on outcome-based education. And that's why we have to understand that these are the attributes of education leader. Okay, this is what we try to really learn, that a confident, a responsible and accountable, a reflective and innovative and engaged person always is engaged in doing something. These are the attributes of educational leader, what we draw out of this aspect when we talk onto this. And hence, we have a summary where I would like to say about the thing that we talk about how the education is important to all of us, and how career and life is important. We see that how mission and vision of the organization and self are important to us, how the concept of I and the world is important, how the strategic way we have to think about the world, and then development and enhancement of the capabilities. This is what we really required into aspect. 15 minutes are left, and I will bit move few further and again come down to your difficulties if you have. Very sorry we start little bit late, but this is where we have to do. By this time you might have understood that this is where the education leadership is built on. This is how, this is the background, this is expected, these are expecting from the national, international, global level. This is how we have to groom up, and bringing starting with the self institution and then going for curriculum development. And as APJ Abdul Kalam said, to succeed in your mission, you must have a single-minded devotion to your goal. This is what he said. Why I said that we have a self-goal, self-mission and vision, because if to succeed in your mission, you must have a single-minded devotion to your goal. Now, friends, now I'm coming to the rest part of our discussion, demonstration of the leadership. How you are going to demonstrate the leadership, the core of that. Okay, and this core of that, I'm just going to focus two aspects: curriculum development and research for effective pedagogy. These two aspects which I'm going to discuss in the background of first discussion. In the first discussion, first part of discussion, we have highlighted this point. But now we'll go to the little bit insight into that, little bit insight into these aspects into that. Few might start. They must,
લોકો વિચાર જ નથી કરતા કે કોને એ લોકો કોન્વર્સેશન કોની હાથે કરે છે સેન્સ તો હોવું જોઈએ ને લોકો
excuse me, moderator, ask the audience to mute
વિચારો
their
કંટાળી
mic,
જતો
please.
હશે અને પેલા શેડ્યુલ ને એવું મૂકતા હરમ નહીં લાગે એ લોકોને
Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. So what to teach, why to teach, and how to teach? My dear friend, what I said to you, this is the philosophy, this is the back of our foundation of a leadership. But actually, when we come to demonstrate leadership, we must understand the formal education structure, programs, courses. Even today, I'm surprised to know that we call a undergraduate program or a postgraduate program a course. No, it is a program. 2 decades before, globally, we are using undergraduate program, postgraduate program. What is the reason? We will talk if time permits. Courses are subject. Nowadays, many times we use the word subject. No, start using courses. Curricular activities, co-curricular activities, and extracurricular activities. This is a formal education. This is the curriculum that we need to understand. And whenever you are planning these activities, you have to plan a very systematically into this aspect. And for that, please take the photograph of this particular slide. I want my teacher to do some work, some reading into these aspects. Taylor's educational objectives, Bloom's mastery learning, competency-based educations, Glaser's criteria reference learning, and Spaddy's outcome-based education approach. We must have, to demonstrate leadership, we must know what are the Taylor's educational objectives are there. Why Bloom has given the taxonomy of learning, why that hierarchy is important, why different domains of learning are important. Whenever you are demonstrating leadership, when you are doing the research, the knowledge of these aspects are required. When you are writing competencies, when we are assessing students, whenever you are writing course outcome and program outcome, you must have a background of competency-based education. How the competency-based education? We go for attainment, we go for continuous development. We must understand what is criteria reference learning theory. We go attainment with certain set goal, set target, POs and COs. It has got certain, because today my lecture is not on outcome-based education. Otherwise, I have delivered on that. So there I want you to learn, and I want you to learn on the Spaddy's outcome-based education model. My book is there, which has been first authored. I'm the first author in the country to write book on outcome-based education, theory and practice for higher education. I have tried to incorporate many things into that to help we all teachers, my dear friend. But I want you people to work on this aspect. Now, as a director, as a head of department, as a teacher, as a course coordinator, as a dean, all what we really want to do, the fundamental question what really Taylor has asked, that whenever you develop the curriculum, and as I said to you, we develop the curriculum as an autonomous institute, or when you are affiliated to some university, you try to model modalities into your curriculum. So you must know the fundamental knowledge questions that you should ask when you are using curriculum. What educational purposes shall the institute seek to attain? This is nothing but your mission, your program education objectives. Okay? Our program outcome. What educational purposes the institute shall seek to attain? Second question, what educational experiences can be provided they are likely to attain these objectives? What are those experiences that can be provided that are likely to attain these purposes? So here our leadership is required, our knowledge of psychology is required, subject knowledge is required. How can educational experiences can be effectively organized? I'm going to show you one example at the end of the program. But at institute level, at department level, at course level, you have to ask these 3 to 4 questions. And how can we determine whether and to what extent these purposes are being attained? We talk about course attainment, PO attainment. So we need to, and these are the 4 basic questions on which we have to act, and we have to include all stakeholders into that, my dear friend. And for that, you must understand the curriculum. What is curriculum? We talk all the time about curriculum and syllabus. Curriculum is all of the experiences learner have under the guidance of teacher. You teach them at institute, different programs, seminar, conferences, assignment, field visit, etc., etc., etc. So curriculum is all the experiences learner have under the guidance of teachers. Curriculum encompasses all learning opportunities provided by the institute. What Hilda Taba, she was teacher, then she later on went to US, and she led head of department of curriculum in one of the renowned university. She said curriculum is planned for learning. Dekho, why we require leadership, why education leadership is required at micro level, at teacher level, department level, dean level, head level, director level, because curriculum is a plan for learning. And Robert Gane has given very important, very comprehensive definition. Altogether subject matter, the statement of end, what we call the outcomes or the objective, sequencing and of the objective, and the pre-assessment of entry skill required when they begin the study of the content. So what students should does or should do, that is its purpose. Keep in mind, that is the purpose. And that is why this particular faculty development program, which we are organized for modern techniques of teaching student or new pedagogical techniques, is important, because what is the prerequisite, what is the end term that we want to attain, and how you are going to wove all these subjects. We teach a subject across the semester, but I have seen and experienced, and I got a lot of input that they are not interconnected. We have to wove together these all subsets. Okay, and that's why a concept which is very well known to you is on the outcome-based education. We have to follow that. We have to become these days, because if you see national education policy, at 20 places, national education policy has talked about the outcome-based education. AICTE University Grants Commission has now shifted to outcome-based education platform. We need to really, in true sense, implement outcome-based education, which is an approach to student learning which specifies what the student should be able to do in order to demonstrate that intended learning has taken place at every lecture, at every course, at every interaction, at the end of the course, at the end of the program. We'll have to continuously do this outcome-based education, and that is where we have to go into this. And we know this particular model. I will not talk much about that, but you understand this is how the design down, what SPADI's principle is there. SPADI's principle is a design down approach, mission and vision of institute and department. From that, you come out with the program education objectives. Though for those program objectives, you define the program outcomes, and for those program outcomes, the course outcomes are designed, and those are delivered. This object, this approach, will have to keep in mind when we go for designing this aspect. My dear friend, we'll have to essentially require that the future challenges that we have to go is essential capability, part of the curriculum. Here we require again a leadership, is holistic health, global citizenship education, organic living, and knowledge of India. This is going to play a vital role, and here we require a leadership. And when we see about the curriculum design and development and research, we require to develop these essential capabilities among the students when we talk of them. And to you, many of you must be knowing about the 5 types of the mind APJ Abdul Kalam talked about. Disciplinary mind, creative mind, synthesizing mind, ethical mind, and respectful mind. To be as successful in their life, my dear friend, we have to design the curriculum, we have to design the teaching learning processes, we have to divide the curriculum in such a that there's a broad-based disciplinary knowledge, there's a creativity involved into that, there is a synthesization of the knowledge, and simultaneously the ethical minds are developed and respectful minds are developed. We have to take clue into that, and we have to develop the entire curriculum into this particular aspect. And we need to understand that this shift which is happening, teaching to learning, skills to thinking, content to process, and teacher instruction to the student demonstration, these we have to brought by using new modern innovative technique. The days has gone where you have to go and deliver in a class. Because one thing which I want you to tell you at this moment is that though we talk about pedagogy, but now it's not a pedagogy, it's andragogy. You are dealing with adults, and adults, when they come, they have their own mindset, and we'll have to see and make them, they have certain goals in their life, so they have vision. So only teaching in a classroom or only giving them superficial knowledge is not sufficient. You are dealing with the adult, so andragogy techniques will have to use so that there is a good learning happens. And to that, fostering research for effective pedagogy. Research in discipline and in pedagogy is very important. And you will not only do research in the discipline, we generally do the research in the discipline. Definitely it helps us, okay, attending conferences, publication of the paper, being a professional member. It helps us writing book, it helps in discipline specific research. But you'll have to do the research on pedagogy. Why? Because there is a saying, if you want to teach a mathematics to Ajit, then you must know mathematics and Ajit too. So mathematics is required, research in mathematics, teaching, learning in mathematics. So research is required in mathematics subject, is pedagogy. And also I want to know how Ajit is learning, what is his learning style, how he will really inspire. And that is why, my dear friend, we are required to do a research into this aspect. Research is fostering. We talk about teaching and learning. And why I'm showing this particular slide is not new to you, but learning is relatively changed the behavior as a result of well-designed learning experiences. We need to do a research so that a well-designed learning experiences are there and meaningful learning is taking place. We need to design a pedagogy, teaching methods, which is a sequence of instructional events which are external to learner, that matches with the learner's internal process of learning. Internal. What is that type of the learning? What type of the learning experiences are required? You need to do a lot of research into that, to study your student, to study your strategy, conduct action research, and see how the students are required. So a subject matter, discipline matters, research, and this also we have to do, because, my dear friend, keep in mind, teacher has not taught the lesson unless student learned it, There are three. I'm going to take another 5 to 7 minutes. I think organizers will agree to me, because already session has started a bit late. So I will try to finish up at early, but now I'm coming to the, I hope the green signal will receive to me, and I will begin to my further discussion on the research part of that. And so, my dear friend, when we talk of research, we need to the research on the pupils, on the teachers, on the institution, because these are the three major stakeholders. How can we inspire them to excellence? We need to see, we need to do the research. Yes, generalized research principles can be applied, but as I say to you, our demography is so vast, it is such a heterogeneous, we need to do certain research into that. To achieve excellent learning outcome, we need excellent teacher. We have to do a lot of teacher, what type of learning models, what type of learning material we need to develop. And definitely, my dear friend, the third, institution, how the natural environment can be provided for the pupils and teachers so that the excellence is developed, excellent environment is developed in the institution on which where we have to work. I am being told, I am being asked in such type of the program, there's a lot of favoritism, there's a lot of politics, there is a lot of XYZ. My dear friend, we have to create a good learning environment, and for that we have to do a lot of research how we can do into that. And as we know that the learning affects, these are the factors which affect the learning. So you will have to do a research on learning, teacher, subject, learning environment. This all you have to do very carefully to go into the revel of that. Our approach to enhance the academic excellence, what is being designed in the global agenda of higher education, achieving according to one's abilities. We talk about self-reliance. We talk about self-reliant. So achieving according to one's abilities, discovering one's abilities and talent, and developing the diverse talent. We need to focus on to do, and we need to do some type of the researches so that whatever we are dreaming for self-reliant society, our graduates and postgraduate, this approach and that research is required when we go for that. My dear friend, this slide is not new to you, but again, by showing this particular slide, I want to tell you, please, please, please focus on development on these three domains of learning. And that too, by understanding the taxonomy, the hierarchy under cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain, for diploma student, for undergraduate program, for postgraduate program, for research program, you should develop. People talk that we have attended the Bloom's taxonomy programs and etc. etc. I want them to design your learning experience here, your teaching methods, which are matching to the Bloom's requirement, Bloom's taxonomy of learning. And to do that, definitely in the today's world, we require factual knowledge, we require to give the conceptual knowledge, we require to give them procedural knowledge, and we have to very much to give them a metacognitive knowledge. This is the demand. People, industry say that they don't know the concept not clear. Students know the factual knowledge, where it is useful. Many students, they don't know how to do it. If you remember the National Knowledge Commission in 1993, they have come out with their report. They talk about the procedural knowledge, how to do the things. And not only that, today in the innovative world, in the startup world, we have to go for a metacognitive knowledge. And that is how we'll have to do a lot of research into that aspect. My dear friend, you need to do a certain research in understanding the learner's style. Because learners are visual learners, though will understand only when you show them models, videos, or PPT. There are certain auditory learners, they only understand only by listening to your lecture. There are certain kinesthetic learners, though will not understand unless you demonstrate, give them simulation experience, or take them to a workshop or a laboratory, or take them to a field. Doesn't mean that either of these style of learners are weak learners or they are not intelligent, but it's their learning style. And whenever we are designing our learning experiences, we have to do a research related to your learners, your topography into that. And please don't forget, my dear friend, as I said to you, that developing study skills and metacognition skills into the parts of that. And that is why, coming to the last 3-4 slides, I want to develop a evidence. This I'm talking specially for undergraduate program and a postgraduate program. Okay, evidence-based curriculum. We should move. It's an outcome-based education approach only, but it has got some sort of the research component. The integration of the best research with the domain expertise and values. Evidence-based education is a rigorous methodology where research data for a particular problem or issues are analyzed together. And educators incorporate evidence-based practices into their teaching learning processes, into their curriculum, and use evidence-based strategies to support their teaching learning strategy. As I said to you, our students are adult learner. They will not understand only by teaching in a classroom. You'll have to go for a evidence-based learning. And this is the process for selecting and implementing the evidence-based practices. You can take a quick snap of that. Identify the needs, select relevant evidence-based interventions, plan for implementation, implement, examine, and reflect. And also you can take the photograph of this slide. Steps, right learning outcomes for evidence-based. Ask for answerable questions. What is really he want to learn? Access the evidence, assess the evidence, appraise the evidence, apply the appropriate evidences, and you go for planning your instruction. That is what you have to do. There's a one more model to which I want to just quickly go to, that is a connected curriculum model. We talk about research. How, why? The topic is such a beautiful topic which is planned, and here you'll understand what we discuss in the first part of discussion and second part of discussion. We are talking about the domain specific subject, but we are also talking about a providing and developing an overall personality, an integral man, a complete man, and fulfilling the societies. In a connected curriculum model, students connect with the researcher and with the institution's research. A thorough research activity they build, each and every program is designed. Students make connection across the subject out of the world. Students connect academic learning with the workplace learning. Students learn to produce output, assignment directed at an audience, and students connected with each other across phase as this and alumni. This is how the connected curriculum, where you will find a blended learning is being developed, research-based learning is developed, because the adult learner, their learning styles are different, and they really wanted to know how it is useful to their world of work, and this type of the approach is very much. So you need to do a lot of research. This is an outcome-based education model, but you have to go for this particular aspect. And according to that, develop a good instructional system design. In my introduction, it was mentioned about I have developed a one quality learning system used from last 20 years in 1,000 institutions. My dear friend, I want that our institution, as I said, every institution is a unique one. We should have department-based, subject-based, or course-based, or course area-based. You should go for an instructional system design, analyzing the learner needs, social needs, professional needs, designing the learning experiences, then properly developing them, the media, multimedia, blended learning experiences, implement, evaluate. So you have to go for a very scientific, and I want you people to develop this aspect. Now coming to the last 2-3 slides, because leaders require planning. And I expect you, please take the photographs of this slide and next slide, next 2 slides. I want you a macro level and a macro level planning. Okay, vision, planning for vision, mission, PO, CO, attainment, and continuous improvement. I want you to plan. The educational leader, you'll understand what I mean to say about the planning. Okay, vision planning, etc., etc. We have to go for micro level planning, COPO planning, course plan, session plan, lesson plan, assessment plan, attainment plan, improvement plan. Please take the photograph. If it is new to you, please take a photograph of it. We require to do a lot of. This is where the educational leadership is going to be demonstrated, whatever we want to achieve to that. And my dear friend, this is a very comprehensive slide. I want you to take the photograph of this particular slide to a program planning. See, when we talk about a leader has to plan curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular activity, prepare him for employment, develop the personality, go for the broad-based knowledge, and also be a good citizen, which is positive in the democratic society. We talk about complete man and integral man. This is all you'll do, that we have to do a lot of curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular activity. These are things, right? Starting for last year feedback, orientation and induction. Orientation to new student, induction to the existing student, pre-assessment of learner. Based upon that, bridge course, then curriculum teaching, continuous assessment, expert lecture, etc., etc., etc. You have to go for that, and planning is very essential. My dear friend, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. This is the homework for you. I want you I'm giving you homework. I will not come tomorrow and I'll ask you. This is homework, means you can try to do this continuously. A 5 tasks for effective education leadership. Okay. Increase knowledge and understanding of successful leadership. Okay. This is what I'm giving you a course for work for you. Develop leadership skill based on the platform which philosophy on which we discuss. Self evaluate approach to leadership, because as I said to you, institute to institute, department to department, university to university, situations will change. Self evaluate, reflect on leadership practices. You'll have to reflect whether we are doing well or not, whether we are getting the desired results or not, and then enhance performance as leaders. This is the homework for you. Please take the photograph. Even my request is to the coordinator to take the photograph and give a task to my all faculty who are connected, because you have organized such an important program, vital program, so that they can work, because this 1.5 hours is not sufficient to discuss on these aspects. So friends, the bottom line of all this discussion is that in spite of all the many strategies to turn around low performances, nothing changes unless teaching and learning changes. This is what we learn out of this. So new pedagogy, modern pedagogy, we have to do, we have to go for curriculum and research. And life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are always a learner. Okay. So life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are always a learner. Always I say that you all, those who are connected to me and all other teachers like that, they are in my heart, and student is in my blood. I always used to say, and when I read this quote, I thought of sharing with you that life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are always a learner. And so friend, the last slide of APJ Abdul Kalam. We are all going to lead. NRI Institute of Technology through AICT Atal program has given us an opportunity to discuss on this particular topic. Don't take rest after your first victory, because if you fail in second, more lips are waiting to say that your first victory was just by luck. Try to understand. This is what APJ Abdul Kalam say. That is what he's saying, that education is a dynamic. There's a dynamism is there. There's a proactivity there, and we say it's a marathon. And as I said to you, teaching is really a noble profession, because this sort of, we have seen across in 1.5 hours, we have seen what type of the different type we have to give as the challenges, my dear friend. So keeping this in mind, and of course, I cannot close my topic before showing that, yes, I have written this particular book, Outcome-Based Education, Theory and Practice. This is especially for higher education. You being connected to my heart, I'm very happy to tell you I'm the first author to write on outcome-based education in our country. Okay, so this is the book, will give you whatever I've discussed, certain points or majority of the points I have discussed in this particular topic, because ultimately it's education leadership what we talk about. So friends, yes, if time is there, you can ask me a questions, or else at the outside, I thank you very much to the NRI Institute of Technology, Department of Computer Science, coordinators, and more. You learned delegate who are connected to me for this program. Okay, COVID has given us an opportunity to meet through online. In future, we will also meet. Please stay connected. This is my email ID, firstpond@gmail.com. Thank you so much to one and all. Over to moderator.